Men really struggle with this. In our society, they are asked to feel strong. They're asked to feel like their emotions are not going to bother them. Uh, Asked, to be tough under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. And what I try to do is help them realize the reality of what they went through. I recall speaking to a man earlier this year, just went through absolute hell as a kid. Just one example was that his father used to make he and his brother fight with each other all the time, just to see them fight. Obviously, a horrible situation, but he wasn't fully recognizing the magnitude of it. He was trying to tell me, it wasn't that bad. It was just one of those things that happened. It didn't affect me that much. And so I asked him to imagine if his own daughter was growing up. He had a 10-year-old daughter. I asked him to imagine her in that environment and what it would be like if he was a butterfly on the wall of his childhood home and had to watch her try to cope with that. And he was horrified. You could see his facial expression change. The idea that, he wouldn't leave his daughter in that home for 5 minutes, let alone for, 18 years that he had been through there. And it really gave him a different perspective on the difficulties he'd been forced to overcome. The purpose of his imagining this was not to re-traumatize him. It was to help him see as I mentioned earlier, the heroic perseverance that it took to survive in that and to give himself some credit. Because when you can give yourself that foundation of self esteem, it changes so many other things. It takes the pressure off you to be perfect. It alleviates the tendency to be extremely self critical. It reduces the possibility that you're going to be in relationships with toxic people because you're going to feel like, you know what? I deserve not to be in relationships with toxic people. I deserve to be in relationships with people who think I showed heroic perseverance back in the day. And it's going to give you the strength to set boundaries. His father was still in his life. His father was still toxic and causing problems. But this floor and foundation for his self-esteem gave him the power to say, you know what, I am not going to put up with this man to the extent that I have in the past. And all of those things helped him to feel physically better, to alleviate the physical symptoms that he was suffering, which were numerous and severe.